Right, I might as well start here. One thing I love about Bristol is the architecture. My whole life I've been a fan of architecture and buildings, and there's something about the old architecture of cities, certain cities. London's one, parts of London. Every time I go there, I love looking at the buildings. It's something I've loved my whole life, and I've worked with stone my whole life. I'm an expert on stone. I'm a stone mason. I'm not a master stone mason, meaning that I can carve bits of art out of stone. I think I probably could do if I put my mind to it. It's just not something I've ever done. But I've worked with stone. I'm a stone mason. I've been a stone mason pretty much the majority of my working life. I started as a bricklayer. A bricklayer is a stone mason. Then I went into digging the roads, but along with that came laying slabs, which is stone masonry, and then I went into just doing footpaths and roads, meaning the curbs, lumps of granite, and precast concrete, artificial stone. Then I went into tiling. Tiling is also stone masonry. So I've spent my entire life as a stonemason. I'm not a master stonemason like people that work on some of the cathedrals and old monuments around the country. It's the architecture that is what gives a city its charm in my eyes, especially the older cities. And Bristol is a city full of fucking great architecture, and I'm just going to go round and show people some of the architecture that is around here, and go over a few things that I've spoke about previously. I wish I'd have done this fucking Saturday. I'm not 100%, nowhere fucking near. I've just had a fucking bit of food from Subways. I couldn't be bothered to sit in a fucking restaurant. I just needed something fairly easy to eat. But I'm going to start here because it was something that I started looking at on Saturday. I enjoyed Saturday. I was just walking around and I had it in my head that I was going to make this video then. And the more I've looked around, the more I'm seeing. Anyway, this morning when I made that video where I've just where I threw the bottle of drink in the thing, I actually spotted something that was on my mind while a thought that went through my head as I was speaking about it, as I was walking around Saturday. Sorry, so let me just give you a little look around. I'm still in the same place by the dock. There's the sign. It's not as clear now as it was before, but anyway, that doesn't matter. Now what I'm about to show you was something that popped into my head as I was walking around, a question on my mind, and when I finished making that video, I looked right next to where I was, and it became clear that part of some of the theory behind it is a theory because I can't prove it, but again, it is possible, just like I've been over before with the space bullshit and the propaganda with this no gravity weightlessness shit. It can be replicated on Earth by flying an aeroplane like that, as I've shown on my pages, my Facebook pages that start with Terry Sace, Terry Horn, Terence Horn, Terry Buddha Horn, Terry Shiverhorn, Celtic Champion, there's loads. So if you are someone that just somehow stumbles across my YouTube video, that's if they get to anyone. I don't seem to get any views on YouTube until I post it on Facebook, but then I don't get any views on my Facebook videos that I post either. So I don't know what's going on or fucking care, because I'm just making these videos, and like I've explained before, I'm in preparation for the other world. This world is just a training program for the other world, which is heaven, as I've been over in previous videos and on my pages. But anyway, I'm going to show you this. What popped into my head, I was walking around, because there's some seriously large stones used in some of the architecture, and the architecture is bang on point, perfect architecture. And something else that I've also gone over is that the skills basis has gone down from the 18th century, even though the technology has gone up. Massive skills basis is gone, not only in woodwork, in stonework. Now, what I'm about to show you now is if I show you this over here first, because this isn't damaged. At a quick glimpse, that looks like large blocks of stone, when in reality what they are is tile cladding. This was what I was questioning myself the other day. So to look at it at a quick glance, you'd think they're big lumps of stone, when in fact what they are is stone tiles. And this is what I saw earlier on after I just made that first video. From what I can make out here, this top piece here is a lump of stone, which would weigh quite a lot of weight for that one piece of stone. It looks like a solid piece of stone, but yeah, this is old and dated, and obviously hasn't been repaired or restored like they do to the buildings around the country and the ancient monuments around the world. But anyway, this is stone cladding, tile cladding. This is a corner piece here, so at a glimpse like that, without paying too much attention, that looks like a solid piece of stone, when all it is a tile corner piece that is made to look like one lump of stone. Now I know not only has the architect, the skills basis and the building techniques of the past, now most of this is 18th century, so it's mid 18th century, which was the start of the Industrial Revolution and the start of many things. If you look at all the distillery involving alcohol, most were established in the 18th century, mid 18th century, at the start of the Industrial Revolution. Like I've been over before, the world you know today started in the 18th century. Before the 18th century, for some reason in the 18th century, they decided to put the date on all the buildings, on everything. So just where I am here, I might as well start here, and show people some of the stonework. And another thing, I am not only am I a stonemason, I have done pretty big things as well. regarding the groundwork. So construction, engineering, I'm an expert in all of these things. Using cranes, using machines, and all of this sort of stuff. So I'm not just a stone layer. I've worked in all fields. Now, if I come to this building here quickly, the detail on the old buildings is unreal compared to what you get today, which is substandard work, craftsmanship, substandard materials, meaning the manufacture. So if it is stone, actual stone blocks, and not all cladding, because again I can't really go into it. It's gone downhill. So why has it gone downhill? What's happened to people's skills basis and the craft of everything? Now, if I start here with this building here, just look at the detail on all the windows, the stonework. Whether it's, I don't think it's cladding. It doesn't look like cladding, but I'm not 100% sure. Just the detail in it all. Look at the detail in all of that. Every little piece, and this is perfect, and I mean perfect. I can run my hand over this here. If I try to get a glimpse of it, it is dead flat. I mean dead flat. Dead flat. Now even some of the joints, this is just grout in here. It's a form of grout, which could just be a cement based product. Again, I work in modern building, and I know how crap everything is. Rush. I can't zoom in, but I have taken loads of pictures of it, so I'm going to put them onto my pages for everyone to see. But just look at the detail of it, and the workmanship and the craftsmanship of this building, one building alone. That was done in the mid 18th century. So what's happened to people's skills basis from that moment to today? And there are so many buildings, the masons at that moment in time would have been a massive large part of the population, and not just in the installation but in the manufacture. So now a brick, like the standard of large amounts of tiles. Now ceramic tile is different to stone tile. I'm an expert at laying floors and footpaths, meaning that I've worked with York stone, what they call proper Indian sandstone, and not that artificial shit that you get in the back gardens now, and marble. I've done massive marble floors and things like that. Now I can get a floor pretty much perfect, meaning that you can put a level on it and you'll barely see a millimeters lip in it if the product is okay. You do find, well, not even expense, sometimes the proper expensive stuff still has a tolerance of a couple of mil, meaning that it's out of shape by a few mil. Now, by the looks of this, none of this is really out millimeters. It's perfect building, and the manufacture of those stones was done before the invention of what they call the petrol engine. It was all done using steam engines, and again from steam, which is harmless to the atmosphere, we have gone to petrol, which according to the science, according to what they're, and diesel, I think it was diesel first, the trains went from steam to diesel, for industry, for the bulking of everything. So it's industry that built and industry that has done everything to harm what they call the world, and now the same people are now saying, oops, sorry about that, we've destroyed the world, everyone, but you're to blame for it, to the minion hot person in the street, and we're going to charge you now for new technologies that cause more harm to the environment by the manufacturer, and not just the manufacturer, the transport, the storing, when it would be far less harmful just to start to live better. Meaning that you shouldn't be forced to go travelling around everywhere, miles, to go to do your jobs. Jobs are the big one. It's the jobs that have controlled and people's need for currency that pushes the market. So if you didn't need to pay to live in a box, and you were able to grow your own food and source your own food and materials from the landscape, you would have no need for motorized vehicles at all. So that's a very easy thing to solve, isn't it? Very easy. And I'll go over into how easy that is in another video, but only the insane can't understand how simple all that is. But we are in a mental asylum full of complete fucking wackos, and trying to get through very simple things is very hard to fucking retardants. But anyway, this one building, just that one building alone, is a masterpiece of stonemasonry. And every shop, nearly every shop and building on the high streets in Bristol, bar the newer buildings, is remarkable in its architecture and engineering. I'm just going to walk quickly while I'm here and make this video a little bit shorter and upload it. But yeah, I'm just going to show you another quick video while everywhere I go, everything I can see here all around, bar, like I said, the newer buildings, is stunning pieces of architecture. Now this is a bit modern. This is a bit more modern one, so it's a late. To me, it looks like a later date one because of the use of brick. Vast amounts of the older ones don't use brick; they use bigger stones. But again, the stone, it still has more stones in it, meaning and the window surrounds and the detail in the decoration of it. Like this is an older one here. This is definitely an older one to that one. So that's there. That's, I don't know the date or really care. It's later date because it's the use of brick. When brick wasn't used, it was more stone, natural stone. This building here, look at that. Again, a stunning piece of architecture, and everything has like carving, statues, decoration in every little intricate detail of the building. Again, these are smaller stones on this one, but expertly laid. Even from the distance, I can see that they are perfect. You could run your hand over that and you'd barely catch your fucking hand on it. Look at the detail in it, of everything. The look down there. Everywhere you go. This is another one here, which is now a Tesco's Express. Again, I'm not 1,000,000% sure whether these are solid blocks clad. That actually looks a bit like plaster to me. Render. That's render. Some of this is render, but looks like stone. That looks like render. If you look down here, that looks like render to me. And again, render can be made to look like stone, especially if you're not looking at it. Or it could be patchwork and repair at a later date to make it look like stone. Who knows? But look at the detail. Look at the craftsmanship. That was done without machines. Apparently there wasn't any really machines, so that's hand carved, hand done. And it's all over the whole country like that. Look at the building, which is now a Tesco's Express. Just look at the architecture here. And the detail of the buildings. Everywhere you look, perfect. Perfect work, more or less. Completely symmetrical, bang on to the millimetre, and complete artistry in the masonry. And like I said, let's just walk up here just while I'm here. Didn't even walk up this bit, but while I'm making the video, I might as well keep walking. Are these blocks? Are they render? Either or. It looks like stone, which is the point I'm trying to make about the ancient monuments. And just like that, it can, just like the point I've made about space and the trickery and use of camera to, I say, fool everyone into believing that space is real and there's this weightlessness, can be replicated on Earth very easy by flying a plane like that. That is documented and provable. So the point I'm making here is that pre-war, First World War, Second World War, the majority of the population lived on farms. They were rural. The cities were for the rich and those who were loyal to the monarchy, meaning the scumbags that were more than happy, and the slave masters, the Freemasons that were loyal to the monarchy, were rewarded with a place in the big cities. Now, again, just look at the detail in every single bit of the buildings. Every single little piece is complete artistry and very similar to what they claim are in the ancient monuments around the world, and that includes Greece as well. Just look at the detail of it all. Complete detail and character, which has been eroded from the building techniques of the modern era and replaced with steel, glass that is all machine made. The more machines that are used, the less skills basis the population has, and the less able it is to do anything for itself. Now they're trying to ban the use of fire, which means, and replace everything with electricity, which means that it can be turned off at the switch of a button and can render everyone without any knowledge of how to survive or do anything for themselves, making them completely dependable on the state. Just here again. And another thing that is massive in a lot of the cities, just like every village, are the amount of churches that also are great pieces of architecture. There we go. This is now an Indian fucking restaurant, but look at the building, the stonework, the decoration, and skill and building techniques that went into all of this. There's a church. Again, it looks like different bits, but certain bits of it is just pure stonework, pure carving, pure expertise, and skills basis. Just look at it, the character of everything. And what I think the word is the allure of the city that drew people from the natural world into the artificial constraints of everything and wanting to be out of nature, meaning taking them further and further from how they were designed to be, which is stated in the religion of Abraham and also mentioned in vast amounts of the other religions around the world, that the devil came to earth and manipulated mankind, or manipulated humankind and created mankind. That's not very kind at all. It's disgusting to every person in it, unless you are fortunate, loyal and obedient to the monarchy, loyal, obedient slave. While I'm here, let me just have a look at this. Is this cladding? This, I'm just going to show you this piece here. It's come out a piece. I'm not sure if this is cladding or solid blocks of stone. This looks like granite to me. It's definitely granite. Granite is artificial. I think granite is made using high temperatures, more or less melting and making rock. Something like that. I'm not 1,000,000% sure. I've not paid that much attention to it. And this, I'm not 100% sure, but could be terracotta. But either or, the workmanship, the skillmanship, and the design, engineering and architecture of the 18th century is way higher than what it is today. Way higher. And it's everywhere. To build a city like Bristol, you would have had to have had literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people working on it. So what happened to all that knowledge? I'm claiming, my theory, because it is a theory, like I said, I don't know the past because I weren't there. But what I can tell you, what I can say definitely, is that the craftsmanship of the 18th century was immense, and the amount of people that were able to do it would have been massive, because this was before the motorized vehicle, meaning that it would have had to been horse and cart, it would have had been ropes, pulleys, steam. I'm certain they might have had steam cranes. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. I know they had steam engines from, well, years ago for the trains. Again, that's why the canals were built, to transport stone and all of these things. Now, according to history, just while I'm on this video quickly and while it's on my brain, is that according to the history books that we're being fed and our past and the origins of the human race, is that the original builders and users of stone, meaning civilization, was in Africa, India, South America. So, and Turkey. Turkey has some really old architecture. And according to the history books, Great Britain was invaded by everyone. The Vikings, the Berbers, the Turks, it's been the French, the Romans. It has been invaded and invaded over and over again. So was it the invaders that brought civilization to Great Britain and enslaved the population? Because it went from Celt according to the history books, went from Celtic, which were people that did not use writing, barely any stone buildings, because there's nothing bar ridiculous stupid things like Stonehenge that can really verify anything pre-monarchy. And like I said, most of it is 18th century. Most of the buildings is 18th century. They claim Stonehenge is much older. They claim a lot of things. Stonehenge is just a few big stones placed on top of each other. To get to the heights of some of the cathedrals and things like that, you would need cranes to do that. Yes, they may weigh a bit more, but I'm certain that you could just lift a few fucking individual stones into place like that using very simple techniques. And they still do it in Indonesia and places like that. They are still using large stonework. They still transport and install large stones. I think it's in Indonesia or parts of Indonesia. It doesn't really matter. It's still capable today, using very basic things to do that. And like I've explained before, those structures aren't the greatest buildings on earth. Some of the architecture, the engineering all around your fucking ears outweighs that a million times. A pyramid, which is just a pile of blocks, literally a pile of blocks. And as it's a pyramid, it would be very easy to build lower levels and put cranes on top of that to then lift the stones up and then dismantle it as you come down, and get less and less and less as you go up, which is why it's pyramid like, because it would be the easiest way to build that rather than plumb. Just putting it out there.